In both 2008 and 2009, the El Dorado National Forest hosted a Passport in Time project to search for evidence of the historic Carson Mormon Trail and to excavate a rock feature that was believed to be the remnants of a trading post alongside the trail. The historic Carson Mormon Trail was an important Trans-Sierra emigrant route that runs through El Dorado National Forest. Pit Project volunteers assisted the Forest Service archaeologists using metal detectors to find 19th century artifacts. They recorded trail segments using GPS and classified verified trail segments using the Historic Trail Classification System developed by the Oregon-California Trails Association. They recorded features and artifact locations along the trail, as well as assisted in test excavations of a cultural rock feature thought to be the remnants of a trading post. The projects were conducted under the leadership of Krista Deal, Katie Parr, and Eric Whiteman, El Dorado National Forest archaeologists, and Frank Tortorich, U.S. Forest Service Historic Trails consultant.
You'll see some markings in here on some of the trees. They came through and marked some of the trees before this area was completely identified. And I think it's for a fuel reduction project alongside the highway. So one of the things that we'll do while we're here is define the boundaries of this and then be able to control where they're coming in, either with equipment or an exclusion area where they're not coming in at all. Emigrant Trail actually comes down right behind us here. Just walk it 30 yards up this way and take a look back. You can see what a great spot this is. The trail is very well defined through there. And then you come down, the Emigrant Trail would have gone around the corner and then dropped straight off the hill. The volcano turned and went right down across the ridge that we've been walking up.
The Carson River route was opened in 1848 from west to east by remnants of the Mormon Battalion who came to California in 1846. This route became one of the most popular routes across the Sierras. In 1848, the year the route was opened, only 3 wagon trains are known to have used this route coming westward into California.
Flat right in here, so this area I'd love to get metal detected and then we won't dig anything up, but we'll pin flag.
Does that need to be?
An estimated 6,000 came over the Carson River route in 1849. Most of the emigrants were badly affected by gold fever and were literally rushing across the country to try their luck at the first gold diggings they found. An astonishing 42,000 people are believed to have crossed the Sierras on this route in 1850. Few traveled this route in 1851, but it was used once again in 1852, although many immigrants took the newly opened Johnson Cutoff further to the north.
The number one item sold at a trading post was whiskey.
Provisions, groceries, dram shops are numerous all along the road. They're temporary concerns and will continue no longer than the immigration are passing.
William Rothwell, 1850.
As trading stations multiplied along the trail route, the traders added a wide diversity of food items and other goods to the flour, hard bread, beef, and sugar that formed their basic inventory. Whiskey and brandy remained abundant throughout the season, even when virtually all else had been sold out.
We have fragments of probably whiskey bottles, that we found up here, like this one.
How do you tell which ones are whiskey bottles?
And the different shapes of bottles that you can tell whether it's wine or whiskey or pickle jars and that sort of pickling item. See by the overall shape.
That's probably that pin flag.
seems to be like a celebratory thing at the top of a lot of the peaks and passes, where they're finding a fusion of pickle jar fragments. Like, I don't know if that means we're out of whiskey, let's drink.
So they have pickle parties?
pickle parties. If this is a chimney, what we think is going on is over here where all the down trees are. We did some metal detecting last year and found a concentration of metal artifacts over here, and a lot of those are can fragments with lead seams. So it could be that the little dump for this particular site is right over there. And then as we move rocks, we'll take, as we start going that way, we'll photograph and draw the rocks before we move them. See, that one looks, that's fire affected right there.
We had a fire come through.
No, there's no fire scars on the trees. So I think this is what it is. This is what it is. You know, this one's, that's a fire all through there. This is a real common thermal fracture where it just gets too hot, it blows up. This right here. So we may end up going that way, but if we can get this one down 10 and then see if we can get this squared off, then we'll start moving that way. And
We have this noon past a number of stations, as they are called, where all kinds of provision can be had, and liquor too. Pies, cakes, and candies in abundance. No need of starving anymore.
Solomon Gorgas, 1850.
Trading posts were numerous along the Carson River route by 1850. By August, emigrants reported that there were many temporary trading stations between the Carson Valley and the Sacramento Valley, often located in wagons, tents, or brush shanties at every good camping spot along the road.
Because directly opposite us is where the Volcano Junction dropped off onto the highway cut. So what I want to do is spread out, have 4 people on each side, and about 5 yards apart, and just kind of scan and see what we're going. If we start getting a lot of hits in one area, then we'll concentrate. But for now, I don't know. There's not a whole lot of swale evidence right in here, so we're just going to be following the flag line for now.
Always wanted one of those.
What we have here is a wagon box rub iron, and this goes on the lower part of the wagon box where the front wheels, when they turn to their limit, hit the wagon box. So rather than wearing into the wood, it wears into a piece of iron, and we can see the rub wear very clearly on this piece of iron. So this is a great find. Okay, this rock here, it has all of the evidence we ever look for on a rock. Right on this top edge, we have actual grooving. We have iron oxide stains. We have polishing, smoothing. When we go on top, we can see where it's discolored, where the wagon wheels rubbed it off. And on this side, we have heavy oxide staining along with the smoothing and polishing. This is definitely wagon created. We go over on the other side over here, we have a granite rock with the same thing. So this is a major corridor. This is lead bar that they carried and then melted it down and put in their bullet molds for their muskets. So they carried it in this form. Sometimes they were wider than this. Sometimes they were just lead blobs. But that's what it is, a good piece of lead bar.
All right. Frank, what's the significance of this white sign here?
The white sign here has the letters SLCA. That stands for Silver Lake Campers Association. And it was a group that operated out of Places Resort down at Silver Lake, out of Stockton Municipal Camp. It was headed up by a man named Jus Machado. And Jus had been walking these trails in the 1920s and 30s. and Jess had actually talked to people who came over this trail by wagons. I learned from Jess, and Jess then organized this group right after World War II, and these signs were made by the shop at Delta College, and they put Emigrant Road, and these were put up parallel to the trail. They did most of their trail signing between Woodford's and Lake Spring, and these were put up parallel, and then they used a variety of can lids for line of sight. And then after they completed theirs, they just kind of did nothing. And then in 1978, when I became interested and started doing the work for the Forest Service as a volunteer, I was able to talk to Jess, and he was quite elderly by that time, as you can imagine. And so he was very helpful, and then to relocate the trail through an area like this, I became very dependent on those. However, many of them were gone. So it was a matter of relocating it, and then of course today out here with the archaeological metal detecting process, we hope to verify what we have suspected all these years.
Silas Newcomb mentioned that in the 12 miles before reaching Leak Spring Valley in 1850 that he had passed 6 stations, and that the prices of provisions were gradually lowering the further west they were traveling. A history of El Dorado County lists the trading posts along the road. If the rock feature does prove to be a trading post, it is possible the proprietor was P. Peterson. His place, listed in a directory of stations along the road in 1854, was in this general location.
2.5 miles before we came to this valley, we passed down Iron Hill, quite a steep, long pitch. The hill has its name from the iron taste, which the water has, and other appearances about the mountains.
Finley and Charlotte, 1850.
During the second year of excavations at the rock feature that is believed to be part of an emigrant-era trading post, pit project members Lynn Blumhart and Ann Bagney discovered a glazed ceramic pipe bowl. This is a special find because the bowl was in the shape of a human face. The pipe bowl strongly resembles the stub-stemmed anthropomorphic fluted pipes made by Moravian master potter Gottfried Aust, or one of his apprentices. Aust was the community potter for the Moravian frontier settlement of Bethabara, North Carolina, where he produced ceramics from 1755 to 1771. He later made ceramics a few miles away in the community of Salem until his death in 1788. This pipe appears to be made of a gray or cream-colored ceramic paste with a clear glaze, giving the pipe a yellowish color. The material and measurements of the pipe are similar to those made by Aust. It may be difficult to identify the particular potter who made this pipe, as Aust's apprentices and other potters continued making this kind of pipe well into the 19th century. Fragments of kaolin pipe were found at 3 units at the rock feature. The base of one bowl includes a spur and a short segment of the stem. The bowl is decorated with widely spaced, fine raised lines which curve around the base of the mold onto the beginning of the stem. A second pipe is decorated by wider, curved, raised lines resembling flutes. As a design element, fluting was common on pipe bowls dating to 1852 recovered in Old Sacramento. Many varied early and mid-19th century artifacts were discovered during the 2008 and 2009 projects. Many were found with the use of metal detectors. In 1852, a branch wagon road was established turning off the main Carson route to the mining town of Volcano. The rock feature excavated in this project is thought to date to at least 1852 with the establishment of the volcano cutoff. Although emigrant traffic declined after 1852 on the Carson route, the road continued to be used by ranchers and sheep herders. The last use of the route by emigrants was in September of 1859. By the 1920s, many portions of the Carson Emigrant route were paved for automobile travel. Modern paved highways, including Highway 88 over Carson Pass and Mormon Emigrant Road through the El Dorado National Forest, still follow the approximate route of portions of the Gold Rush Wagon Trail. Today, barely visible traces of the original trail remain to remind the modern traveler that thousands of people with wagons and animals struggled over this wilderness pathway.